Shalom Akim, Kahalayim, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakudash, Double Honest the Apostles, the elders of Great Millstone of Ruel. Peace and salutation to the Akim around the world that pushes truth to the four corners of the earth. Right, this is Yaraba from the GMS Train at East Camp. You know, I go through some precepts I entitled it, How Terrible Are Thy Works. Right? Just people out here, they don't understand how terrible a power the Lord is. You understand? They only like to dwell on the half of the Lord way, he does be merciful and, show grace and so forth to people. And they don't understand the true terror of the Lord, how serious our Lord the man is. How serious a man the Lord is, Salakia. How serious a man the Lord is. And the kind of terrors that going and come upon this place. They don't even dwell on the terrors that pass, that pass when they actually read the stories of the scriptures. The scriptures say, what is paraphrasing, say all things are written aforetime or written for our learning. All these stories that you see the Lord constantly bringing Israel into destruction was what? Was so that terror will be manifest, or was how serious a man the Lord is, and the kind of things that he could do to you if you're not obedient unto him. Right, so there's Psalm 66 verse 3 say unto Yahweh, how terrible art thou in thy works. And like I say, we have many examples of these things, being sent into slavery, or women or men being raped, you understand, having to eat your own children, you understand. These are the kind of things that the Lord could do to you. You understand, the Lord's works are terrible. Destroy everybody on the earth at one point and just save 8 people. The Lord's works are terrible, right? It says, through the greatness of thy power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. And our enemies used to be submit unto Israel back in the past, but it's going to be complete in the kingdom, because at that time it wouldn't have anybody riffing against us anymore. You understand? All our enemies will be in complete subjection unto us. It say, all the earth shall worship thee, and shall sing unto thee. So they shall sing to thy name, Salah. It say, come and see the works of power. He is terrible in his doing towards the children of men. And these terrors will start to be manifest more and more as we come to the end. You understand? Because this is when the Lord will actually be bringing destruction upon the earth, as he talk about. You understand? Example, I think is Revelation 16 verse 18. It says, and there were voices and thunders and lightning, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. And they just one of the terrors that going to happen in that time, when them ICBM missiles, start destroying the place. You start to see the earth shaking to and fro as a drunken, as the scriptures talk about. All this destruction going on come upon this place, and that is when people going and see the real terror of the Lord. Because it's not just going on be through Esau science and these missiles and things he create. We also go and do it through what? Through the beasts of the field. You understand? All these different creatures that the Lord going on bring forth. You understand? These death angels that he going on release to send destruction upon the place. All these different terrors the Lord going on bring in many different ways. Right? I'll read an example. The way the scripture says was a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Say there's no one that could pluck you out of his hands. It said in Isaiah 66 verse 4, it say, I also will choose your delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them. And who go and do that? The Lord go and do that to them. Just like they talk about in Amos, it say, woe unto you a desire the day of the Lord. They're going to have destruction around every corner. Around every corner, you're going to have destruction. You understand? And that when the terror of the Lord going to be manifest throughout the whole world. Right? It say, I also will choose their delusions, I will bring their fears upon them. in many different ways. You understand? These women that freight harm, they're going to be raped by multiple men. Some of them might be eaten. You understand? Animals. Same thing with men. Animals might have to eat you, tear it to pieces. All these people who mind pit bulls, and that pit bull grew up with them since they was small. Yeah, the pit bull fully trained. When the Lord put his spirit on them pit bulls, you understand? All them lawless men who are like 4 or 5 pit bulls in the yard, and pit bulls go and devour them. You understand? Because the Lord gonna put his spirit on these animals to tear them to pieces. You understand? The Lord gonna put his spirit in people to want to cause harm to them, to break into the houses and do harm to them and so forth. The Lord going to bring fear and terror upon this place. And it's the Lord that's going to do it. You understand? I also will choose their delusions. I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. It say, when I speak, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that in which I delighted not. You understand? And that is for those who don't hearken to the gospel. You understand? The 144 and the 1/3, they will escape these things, but the 2/3 will be left therein. Right? It say, hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. It say, your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. But when that time of destruction come, they will be calling upon the Lord, and the Lord wouldn't be answering them, as we talk about in Proverbs 1. You understand? The Lord wouldn't have no time for them, because the Lord will be destroying them. He will be sending these animals or these other people, or whatever means, whether it be pestilence, whether it be hunger, is the Lord will be doing that to them. You understand? He'll be manifesting that terrible power. Why? Because they didn't hearken. You understand? It said Ezekiel 9 verse 4. It said, and the Lord said unto me, go through the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the forehead of the men that sigh and cry for all abomination done in the midst thereof. And this go back to what? To his men who actually sighing and crying in this place, trying to keep all these things. I know how to be dealing with these abominable things that going on in this system every day. Upholding and uplifting homosexuality. You understand? These women want to act like if they equal to men, and some acting like they're above men. You understand? All these abominable things that they complaining about, that going on in this wicked kingdom, they want it to go down. You understand? Even the ones who in heaven complaining. This time for this kingdom to go down. Everybody complaining. The only ones who not complaining is the wicked, the 2/3, and these heathens. They're not complaining because they like here. They might complain about certain unjust things that Esau doing, but they like the foundation of this wicked kingdom. They like to have the liberty to do whatever they feel like, to be lawless. They like this. They're not sighing and crying. It say, unto the others, he said in mine hearing, go after, right? So the others who is not the 144 and the 1/3, it say unto the others, he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. You understand? The kind of terror the Lord going to bring on this place. It says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. You understand? Now that mark goes back to what? The mark of exemption. Because they're going to escape these things. That destruction not going to be upon them. To the ones that actually fear the Lord and try to keep his will. We're going to be upon the rest of Israel. And a lot of these heathens. And for the 1 or 2 heathens that do get away, they're going to go into captivity. Right? It's slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women. So the Lord don't discriminate. You understand? Nothing about, oh, it was just a baby or it's a woman, it should be soft towards women. That is something Esau does teach. It say, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary, which is who? Israel. It say, then they began at the ancient men, which were before the house. So all these scriptures showing you what? How terrible the Lord is. And we coming into the time where we go and see these terrors for ourselves. These terrors will be manifested. You understand? And that will actually be a glory for the men of the Lord to witness these things. You understand? Just like how Abraham was there to witness the destruction of Sodom, is the same way the men of the Lord will be there to witness the destruction of this place and to actually escape it. You understand? And some of them would even be a part of it. Because the scriptures talk about the Lord sending for many hunters. You understand? All these things go back to what? The terror of the Lord. The Lord is a very terrible power. But these people don't understand that terror. Why? Because their fear is taught by what? The precepts of men. I'll bring that out quick. That is Isaiah 29 verse 13, I think. Alright, they say, wherefore the Lord saith, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me. You understand? Because people love to say, I love the Lord and thing and I this and I that. But when you look at the things that it's doing, you can see it contrary. If you really love the Lord, you'll do the things that the Lord say. The same way if a child loves the parent, they'll be well behaved. They'll do the things that the parent tell them to do. You could never say you love your parents and your mother tell you to do this, your father tell you to do that. Like, I don't know how to do that. You know my heart. Can't tell your parents some shit like that. You say, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. Because when you go in these hallowed houses, they don't teach you to fear the Lord. I hear people say that with my own ears. You understand? Talk about, oh, our fear is not ready. It's not really about being afraid. It's about respect. And no, it's about fear. You have to fear the Lord. Yes, the Lord is merciful, but you have to be afraid of what could happen to you if you don't listen to Him. The same way children are supposed to be afraid of what could happen to them if they don't obey the parents. Majority of these children you see out here wayward and like to do a sort of foolishness because they have no fear for the parents. You understand? The fear of the Lord is an actual fear. But they don't fear the Lord. They don't understand that terror of the Lord. Why? Because it was taught to them by the precepts of men. You understand? It's their leaders who teach them that they don't really have to fear the Lord. The Lord is just about love. Like if the Lord is Aphrodite. You see there, 2 Corinthians 5:11, it says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord. Right? It says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. Because the prophets knew how serious a man the Lord is. They even knew that if they didn't do what the Lord say, what would happen to them? They had to go and teach the people. The same way we have to go and teach the people now. The same way Jonah had to go and teach the people. Because if he didn't, if it wasn't put in him to go and teach, he would have never escaped Leviathan's stomach. He was in there for 3 days bawling, let him out. I can't say he was saying that, but when I talk about in the belly of hell I cried. You understand? He was bawling inside that stomach, bawling to come out. And when he did come out, he went straight and do what he had to do. You understand? 3 days he had to stay in that stomach. He had to experience the terror of the Lord firsthand for him to actually go and do what he had to do. And all these other prophets who went and do what the Lord will was, even though it was difficult for them, even though they knew the consequences, they understood the terror of the Lord. They know how serious a man the Lord is. They know that the Lord could destroy in many different and painful ways. And they also know the things that are to come. You understand? The benefits for those who do follow it and the penalties for those that don't. They will experience that terror. So they are Matthew 10 verse 28. It say, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. And that the mindset the prophets was in. They wasn't afraid of the ones that could kill the body, but not the soul, which are these people out here. We go out and preach to them. Even back then, there was going out and preach to them, and Israel used to slay the prophets. But they wasn't afraid of them. Who it is they was really afraid of? He say, but rather, fear him which are able to destroy both body and soul in hell. Is the Most High they fear, because they know who really is power and who has power. You understand? And like I say, when you look through history and all the different things that the Lord brought upon us and upon the world, you'll see how terrible a power the Lord is. All the other nations after the flood didn't know, even though they didn't actually know the Most High and used to praise him, they knew that he was the God that destroyed the whole world. They knew how terrible he was. And that is why whenever they used to go up against Israel, the first thing they used to try to do is what? Cut them off from the God. Because they know once they have that God on their side, they can't beat them. That's how terrible, that's how much fear the heathens used to have against the Most High. The first thing he used to try to do is make sure the people stay transgressing, so they would always have them, they wouldn't have to deal with the Most High. There are some precepts to going through to show you how terrible a power the Lord is. I have many other different examples. And as men of the Lord, you understand, we will be able to see the Lord's will. We will be able to see all of those terrors coming to pass. All these people who don't want to hearken now and they want to take everything for a joke. When the time comes that the Lord's terror start to be manifest in this place, that is when they will see how serious shit really is. That is when they will see how serious shit really is. See, the Proverbs 1, I read this last one. In Proverbs 1 verse 24, it say, because I called and ye refused, I stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But ye have set a naught to all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. And who is the Lord counsel? The scriptures say he speak through the mouth of his prophets. You understand? These are the men that going out and actually telling the people right from wrong, and the people reject that. You understand? 2/3 of Israel reject that knowledge. Right? They don't want no correction, they don't want that reproof. It say, I also will laugh at your calamity. See, the Lord will bring destruction upon you, and then he will laugh at you when you're going through it. It say, I will mock when your fear cometh. Who bringing that fear upon you? The Most High. It say, when your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, it say, when distress and anguish come upon you, it say, then shall he call upon me. And that is the spirit of our people, because they only want to call upon the Lord when something happened to them. That is when everybody's want to sing psalms and try to act like they're right. But as soon as shit calm down, they just go right back to being wicked. It say, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. You understand? It says, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. They didn't fear the Lord. They didn't fear that terrible power or the things that the Lord could do to them whenever they're not right. It said, they would none of my counsel. They despised all my reproof. It said, therefore shall they eat of the fruits of their own way and be filled with their own devices. You understand? This will be the penalty. And the men of the Lord, like I said, they're waiting to see that terror manifest. Because that when we know that this place is done. And then the final destruction. You understand? And 2/3 of Israel, they will feel the full blunt of that terror. You understand why? Because they're rebellious. Anyway, with that I say shalom.